real food. So not necessarily paleo, because I think people can geek out about that, and there's a lot of political biases that go along with you're trying to sell a cookbook, or you're the creator of paleo, or whatever it is. There's a lot of things that people can try to push that aren't necessarily the best health benefits, but they're calling it for marketing strategy. Now, the idea behind that is like paleo brownies, paleo pancakes. That's the one side. The other side is like, are green beans paleo? Like, does that matter? Like, it doesn't really matter if green beans are paleo or not. It's more about the other stuff. So let's just talk about this in terms of what I like, and the way I learned about this was from a book called In Defense of Food by Michael Pollan. It's a great book, it's an easy read, and it's the most unbiased political book I've ever read on nutrition. Most people are trying to sell an agenda. His approach to this is food was once alive. If it was growing out of the ground or it had a mother, it was food. Another way to think about that is it can't have a shelf life. It's going to perish and waste away if it's on the shelves. Everything else is an edible, man-made, food-like substance. If you kind of grasp what that means, everything else that is not real food, that was not once alive, basically means that it doesn't come in a box or bag or a can. It doesn't have a nutrition label on it. If it's one of those things, it's made by men in lab coats in laboratories. It's not real food. And when you kind of conceptualize that, all of a sudden you start to realize what it is we're eating. It makes decisions really easy. It's not a matter of like, I get to eat this or I don't get to eat that. It's just a matter of like, what do you want to eat? So I try to really implore people, don't think about what we're saying not to eat. Think instead about all things that you do get to eat that are going to benefit you. That's the biggest blanket statement I can make. Now the next thing is talk about things a little bit more specifically. What we like to talk about is eating meat and vegetables, nuts, seeds, little starch, and no sugar. So what each of those look like, just so we can kind of lay those out, the first most beneficial food group for you in terms of the ones that have the most micronutrients, that have the most calcium and zinc and magnesium and vitamin A, B, and C, and fiber, and all the rest. All the stuff that you want to have in your body, the number one most nutrient-dense food group is vegetables. Which veggies do we like and which ones don't we like? Which veggies do we like?
Green.
All of them. Go for veggies. Just don't be discriminatory. Have vegetables. People are like, no, you have to have the colors and it's greens and that. It's like, get in. Nobody eats enough vegetables. Vegetarians included. Most vegetarians do not eat vegetables. They eat edible man-made food-like substances. Right? So whether you're a vegetarian or not, try to get more vegetables. Meat. What do we like for meat? Lean, salmon, grass-fed,
wild-caught,
organic, wild-caught. I love all of those things. What we don't like is the processed stuff. This is where the paleo group comes in. Like, go for bacon, go for sausage, all that stuff. I'm not a huge advocate of that. I don't love that. I don't think there's a lot of benefits you get in that. It's other than it tastes delicious. But what we really like is wild-caught, farm-raised, all the grass-fed. That stuff makes a difference. You know, you can debate whether there's certain things like organic or free-range, those things. For certain things, in the meat category, I believe those things are a game changer. I seek those things out. For fish, go for fish, particularly cold water fish like salmon and mackerel and sardines, things like that. And then wild caught over farm raised is a huge differentiator. I do think that's a difference. To the point where there are studies, reports out there that the farm raised salmon is actually bad for you. Now, I'm not going to say it is, but there's reports out there that say it's bad for you. Not that it's like not good, but that it can cause major issues. Same thing with certain types of chicken. You guys have probably seen a lot of those movies where they have the slaughterhouses and stuff. Look for like the local, wild, grass-fed stuff. Okay? For fruits, what do we think about fruits? Yeah, fruits are good, but you want to be careful with them. You want to limit them a little bit. 2 or 3 servings a day, meaning an apple and then some strawberries later on, and then maybe some blueberries, is totally fine. In general, berries, this is getting kind of like down rabbit holes and stuff, but berries are generally relatively some of the best fruits for you. The next ones is things like apples and pears and oranges, and the ones that have the highest sugar content are like the tropical ones. It's like pineapple and mango and bananas. So just kind of, I'm not saying don't have those, but just recognize that the more you go towards one side, the more you probably have. The more you go to the other side, the less you want to have. It has to do with the micronutrients versus number of sugar. You want to have the most micronutrients relative to sugar. Okay? Nuts, seeds, and oils. What do we think about those? Good. Good, moderation, and some better than others. Okay? So what we're looking for in terms of nuts and seeds is I'm okay with them, just recognize that it's a moderation thing. Most people, when they sit down with a bag or can of almonds or a thing of almond butter, it's like a quarter of the can of almond butter is gone, and they're like, oh, can I just black out? What's happening? It's a serving of almond butter is a tablespoon. Okay, that's a serving of almond butter, and go for it. Have it. Now, what I would implore you to do is take nuts out of your diet. Take them out completely and put them back in. Much like dairy, a lot of people have gut or bad reactions, I'm one of those people, to nuts. But you don't know it unless you take it out and put it back in. So first thing about nuts is they're good. They do have good fats in them, but they also have some omega-6 in them, so just be careful, don't overdo it. But we generally say they're good in moderation. Seeds are the same deal. We're okay with them, but again, in moderation, don't just sit down and have a whole bag full of sunflower seeds. Oils, what do we think about oils? Good in moderation, and there's good and bad versions of oils. So things like coconut oil is the best. The way you judge this is based off the smoking point. It's what temperature does it start boiling. The higher the smoking point, the more saturated fats. The stronger the bonds. And it's the exact opposite of what we've been taught. Saturated fats are the good fats. It's weird, right? You want to go for the I know, I'm blown, right? They're the ones that we want to seek out. Those are the good ones. It's the reason that coconut oil is good for you because that's the highest saturated fat, highest smoking point. Olive oils are good raw, and they have a moderate smoking point. So you want to make sure if you're cooking with olive oil, it's at a low temperature. Other thing about olive oil, just to get a little bit geeked out, it can make you a little bit paranoid. It's one of the most counterfeited products in the world. When you get olive oil, chances are you're not getting olive oil, you're getting canola oil. Canola oil is one we want to avoid. That's an omega-6, and omega-6 is inflammatory. That's what you hear about like anti-inflammatories, that's why I feel like antioxidants and leafy greens and all those things. Well, omega-6, which is in some nuts and seeds, it's in a lot of low-quality oils and very processed foods. That's what we're trying to avoid for that reason. The reason people like fish oil, people like fish oils because it's omega-3 and it balances out. Well, if you're doing grass-fed stuff, wild caught, you don't need something with fish oil. If you're eating fish as often as you're eating other things, then you definitely don't need to. If you're only having fish once or twice a week, perhaps you want to. Okay? Is there any oils? Is there any question on that?
Yeah, about avocado in general proportion.
Great, so avocado is not on here. I'll put avocado actually, yeah. And where does that fall? Avocado, a normal portion size of avocado is a quarter of an avocado. That's a normal portion size. So if you're going to add it to a meal, that's normal size. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to limit yourself that. You could have half, but if you're having half an avocado, make sure you're also not doing nut butters and oils and salad dressing and all the other stuff. Okay? Starch. Anyone want to give some examples of what starches are? Sweet potatoes. Yeah, what else? Rice. What else? Pasta. What is it? Quinoa. Chickpeas are actually a legume. Yeah. Beets. Yeah, great. So you guys get the idea of what starch are. What do we feel about starches? Good, bad, middle? What do we think? What about the thing about starches? Yeah, moderation. We're okay with them, particularly some. Here's what I think about starches. It depends on your activity level. If you're very active, if you're going to try to keep meals, and you do CrossFit workouts, and then you do another whole hour of other work, and then you're a landscaper, you probably need to seek out some starches to get some carbohydrates in you. So seek it out in good form in terms of sweet potatoes, beets, and maybe some rice, that type of stuff. You know, think of it rutabaga goes there. I think like succotash goes in this. Like there's other plantains go in this. There's squash, yeah, exactly. Some other things as well. If you're not super active, you don't need these. So what I would do is just go for the ones that have a lot of micronutrients. Sweet potatoes. So you just got to make sure you're limiting your quantity. Okay? They're okay. You just don't want to go crazy with them. In terms of a serving size, it would be about. In terms of the sweet potato, it's about the size of the deck of cards of sweet potato. So not a whole sweet potato. Probably about, if it's a normal size sweet potato, it's probably about a third of that. That would be a normal serving size.
And in that paleo sweet potato fries, is that two servings?
So paleo sweet potatoes, like from Paleo Power Meals, those sweet potato fries. Yeah, so some bring a probably get a lot of them, some you don't. It's about a serving size of that is about 5, 6, 7 of those fries. So the small, the big, and serving size, you don't have to have one serving size. You can have 2 servings, just like the just recognize what else you're having in your meal. Okay? No, bananas are fruit. Yep, bananas are fruit. They're starting.
So you're recommending less than a cup of?
Yeah, let's, no, it's about the size of that. Yeah, deck cards. Don't worry about we're talking macro nuts. Forget about the challenge right now. We can geek out about that in a second if we want to, okay? Sugars and processed foods. What do we think about it? Bad. This is the deal. If we can do this, we're not getting sugars. The only sugars you're really getting is the form of fruit and maybe a little bit of starch. You're going to be doing that. Now, here's what sugars, the people making the edible man-made food-like substances, those guys are smart. And they realize that you're looking for the sugar. So they try and hide it. They call it a whole bunch of different things. What are the things they call sugar that make sure that they don't put sugar in the nutrition labels? High fructose corn syrup is one of them. Cane sugar, organic cane sugar, right? Any sort of juice is a sugar. That's really sneaky. They'll put in like apple juice concentrate. That is sugar. They also do it in terms of like rice syrup. So you eat a Cliff Bar, the number 2 ingredient in Cliff Bars is rice syrup. It's sugar. So it's agave, it's maple syrup, it's honey, it's molasses. It's read those labels and search and see for those things. If you have it, and it's in everything. It's everywhere. It's not something that comes without a label on it. It's probably going to have sugar, and that's what we're trying to say. If you can stay away from these things and do these as we just talked about, you're 85% there in terms of avoiding disease. There's a 15% that's hereditary and kind of combined with environmental. But a huge, and I'm making these numbers up. But it's my belief, because they can't figure this out, right? But it's my belief that the huge majority has to do with what we're eating. The next majority is a combination of hereditary and environmental stuff. So after we get to that, we can geek out about some things that aren't on this list. Dairy. What do we think about dairy? Depends. Yeah, some people can tolerate, some people do a good job of it. What we want to do again is avoid the sugar. So would we rather have whole milk, 1%, 2%, or skim? What do you guys think? Whole milk. Yeah, whole milk is better. What they're doing is, as they take whole milk, the whole thing, they're processing it down to create it into a better tasting, sugary substance. So we'd rather have whole. Okay? In terms of yogurts, just check out the yogurt label. If it's a Greek yogurt with 0 sugar, we're probably okay with that if you can tolerate. Now, not everyone can tolerate dairy, so just figure it out. In moderation, I'm okay with this. It'd be the first thing I added back after going totally real paleo, which you guys know I don't love that term. Legumes. What are legumes? Throw out some words. It's peas, it's beans, it's chickpeas, it's soy. Peanuts is one of them. Cashews is debatable. They go back and forth on that one. I don't know enough to give a good answer on that. Am I missing it? There's other ones? What do we think about those legumes?
They grew though. So.
Yeah, this is a weird one again, right? This is a real food. Okay, it grew out of the ground. Having said that, there are some things in them that research has shown aren't great for you. So again, what I would do is remove them out of your diet, put them back in, and if you have gas or gastro issues, that means they're bad for you. Okay? You're not supposed to have those. Now, if you add them back in and they're totally fine, you're getting a little more energy, you're getting a little more carbohydrates. Other thing, guys, don't be persuaded. They're not a protein. Okay? They're much higher carbohydrate. So they're being advertised as protein, protein, protein. They're a carbohydrate with some protein in it. Okay? Alcohol. What do we think about alcohol? Moderation. Avoid it completely. Go crazy. We have some in the back. Want to go do it? What do we think? Yeah. Avoid if you can. That's the deal. It's a social thing. There's no nutritional benefit. I know there's a lot of stuff out there about a glass of wine a day. I can find equally as powerful arguments for that not being the case. It's all causality. It's all correlate studies, not causality. What they're saying is people that drink a glass of wine live longer and healthier lives. That's not because of the glass of wine. It's because of the lifestyle we live in. Most people that are having a glass of red wine at night, but not 2 or 3, live a pretty different life than the people that are drinking 6 or 7 Bud Lights. Or the people that are slugging down. It's a different lifestyle. Now, my take is, if it's a social thing and you want to do it sparingly, because I want you to live your lives. It's important to live your lives and have fun. But when you can avoid it, you avoid it. Here's my take on it. When you do partake, I learned this from a Gentleman's Guide book, that's where you get that's not a gentleman. Drink your drink. Have one. Order a second, but don't finish it. Okay? Go out in a social environment, drink your drink, have your first one. Nobody will look at you like, what's wrong? Why aren't you drinking? You're not fun, like anything. Or you won't be self-conscious about it. If that's a thing you need to control, don't finish your second one. When everyone want another one, yeah, you want another one. This round's on me. You can do it. But don't finish that one. If you do that, you won't wake up tomorrow feeling like crap. You won't have danger driving. You almost say everything that you want to be able to do. You'll be social. You'll be fun. Yet you won't have any of the major negative benefits. Now, the one thing we say about this is a drink is a drink. Okay? It's not a glass of wine with a straw. Okay? So recognize what that is. If you're having a big glass of wine like they give you at some restaurants, recognize that that's your too. Okay? Next, last thing we're going to talk about is quality and macros. So first off, that macronutrients are protein, carbs, and fat. There's this other thing called alcohol, which we just talked about, but the big ones are protein, carbs, and fat. What are proteins? Throw in some things. Chicken, meat, eggs, fish. Okay, that's really what they are. Okay? In terms of carbohydrates, what are carbohydrates? Veggies. This is you guys going to be light route. Most people don't go that route. Okay, most people say pasta and stuff like that. It's fruit and it's veggies. It's a combination, some legumes and dairy are a combination of the both. But it's fruits, veggies, and processed foods. Right? What are fats? Let's talk about some good fats and then some bad fats. What are some good fats? Avocado, coconut oil, avocados, almonds, and macadamia nuts, and things like that. What are some of the bad fats? Canola oil, some of the things that come from processed foods, things like that. Some of the not so lean meats that come from bad sources, that kind of stuff. Sausages and the rest. Okay, protein, carbs, and fats. What do you want to have the most of in your diet? Yeah, so carb, protein, fat. What do you have the most of? And it's not in terms of like grams or that, on your plate. On your plate, what do you want to fill the most of? Veggies. Yeah, veggies. That's a carbohydrate. So in terms of what it looks like on your plate, you want to fill up your entire plate. Try this. Fill up your entire, not like 3/4, not fill up your entire plate with veggies. Okay, then from there, what do we want more of? Protein or fat? Protein. You want a palm-sized serving of protein. Okay, it's not a big thing. A piece of chicken, a burger, a piece of salmon, something like that. Something in that 5, depending on how big you are, something in that 5 to 8 ounces is the neighborhood. Okay, if you are a 240-pound guy, 8 ounces good. If you're a 110-pound girl, 4 or 5 ounces is good. Okay, and then the next thing is fat. How much fat do you want to have? We already talked about this a little bit. Yeah, I think a thumb size is good. So that's like a palm-sized thing of some nuts. It's a serving of oil on your plate in terms of salad dressing. It's 2 tablespoons of guacamole. It's a tablespoon or 2 of nut butter. That's the deal. You have that 3, 4, or 5 times a day, depending on how big you are, with a little post-workout snack as well, and you have the deal. You don't need to geek out about anything else in terms of the numbers, in terms of like, is it green beans or corn or legumes or all these things that feel, what about gum? You know, all these things. You can figure those things out yourself, right? All of those things fit into something. So having said that, and we want to talk about specifics or geek out about anything.
Post-workout snack.
Post-workout snack. The biggest thing that people need to do in the post-workout window is protein, carbs, or fat. It's carbs. We've been misled. It's carbohydrates. We work out in the glycolytic pathway, meaning you've ripped your body into shreds from its glycogen source. Glycogen is stored sugar. Sugar is carbohydrates. You need to replace that. That's why you need to do something like a fuel for fire, or a coconut water, or a UCAN, or a banana, or, you know, back in the day, if you guys were here 5, 6 years ago, our big thing was we all had sweet potatoes. Literally, we would have sweet potatoes and raisins. We've gone away from that a little bit, but that's what we used to do. A lot. So it's carbs are first, and then protein is also important. I'm not going to say it's not. But protein actually works best when it's with some carbs. So I would make sure you have a little bit of that post-workout window. You don't want fat.
So in terms of protein source post-workout, for a while we moved away from shakes being useful, but protein at that point, is it really more easily absorbable than a liquid form?
Yes.
I've read
Great question, Lynn. The question is, what about your protein source post-workout? Is it shakes because you can drink it down and they taste delicious and it's really easy? Or should we really be going for a hard-boiled egg or a chicken? It depends on the quality of the shake in terms of a protein powder. That's the first thing. If we have a high-quality protein, it's going to be on par with a whole food source in terms of the availability of it, particularly if it's whey because it's faster absorbed. Whey is a derivative of milk. Basically, it's the waste product from mozzarella, is the way it works. But they found out it's really fastly absorbed. Another is casein, which you guys might have heard of. That's a much slower absorber. That's a good one to have throughout the day if you need a snack real quick and you don't have a real food source. Or before you go to bed, so you don't go into catabolic state. If you have a high quality protein source, and what I would look at is on the label, is it a concentrate or an isolate? If it's a concentrate, I would not be using it. It's just not there, you don't know. Now the second thing is it regulated? The only, it's not a fact, but the only one I've come across, the only protein powder I've come across that is approved and regulated by the FDA is Ascent. Everything else has a supplement label, not a food label. They're the only company that has a food label, meaning what they say is in the product is actually in the product. If it's a supplement, you don't have to tell the truth. The only way you're going to get called out is if your peers, your competitors, test your product and say debunk it. Now, a lot of people, that's enough for a lot of companies to make sure that they do it right, but you can get by in the supplement world because it's not regulated by the FDA. That's why we like Ascent.
If you don't tolerate dairy, would you suggest that the whey is different and therefore?
Okay, so the reason that people don't, well, most people, this isn't everybody, the reason most people don't tolerate dairy is because the lactose. It's the sugar in the dairy. Whey protein has almost zero lactose. There is no sugar in it. So some people can. Now, having said that, some people can't tolerate whey because of other reasons. If you can't, try to go to a whole food source. What that whole food source is, I can't tell you because I don't know what you're doing. I tried this, and I was able to do it for about 10 days. I tried to do it for the whole nutrition challenge, and I couldn't do it. I made it about almost 2 weeks. You guys might have seen me. Remember, after my workout, I get the thing of berries and chicken, and I would put it in my shaker bottle, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do the whole food. I needed to go to the shake.
How about collagen in terms of?
Collagen is we tried it for a while, and we got sucked into a little bit of propaganda. It's a really, really, really low quality protein. The propaganda behind it is so convincing because it sounds perfect. It's what your joints are made of. It's a really low quality form of protein. Do not do collagen.
Really?
Yes.
Then, you know, you say we used to say your muscles are like sponges for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's about 45 minutes.
So is that for carbs and 15?
Correct. Your post-workout window is about 45 minutes. It actually peaks about 10 minutes after. I'm sorry, it actually peaks at about 15 to 25 minutes afterwards, which is perfect, right? By the time you put your barbell away, you slap high fives, you catch your breath, you clean up, you go to the bathroom, you come back out. It's about 15 to 20 minutes after the workout. That's the time to do it. There's no benefit to like, as you're finishing your last breath, to like be shaking up your, you don't need to do that. Creatine, so sorry, this will be our last question, so we gotta get rolling. Creatine, in terms of performance, it's one of the most researched supplements there's ever been around, and it's one of the only ones across the board. It has 100% results in efficacy, meaning it's completely safe and produces results. Now, what it does is it adds muscle. If you don't want to add muscle, don't do creatine. There are some people that have adverse effects to it. Some people claim headaches or cramping or dehydration. That's like anything. That's like some people are allergic to bananas, and some people can't tolerate certain, other foods. Some people are allergic to nuts. Some people, that has nothing to do with the actual substance of it. It's just some people don't tolerate it like other people. But across the board, if you are looking to increase lean muscle mass, that's the deal. If you want to gain 2 or 3 pounds of muscle, and muscle eats fat, so you'll get leaner, it is a good source. You don't need to cycle it like they told you to do it. You don't need to do a loading phase like they told you to do it. 5 grams a day consistently. You don't need to come off it. Works. And you also don't need to take it with grape juice or a really high glycemic load like they told you to do it. And the timing of it does not matter. Before, during, after, at night, all that doesn't matter as well. 5 grams a day.
For BCAAs.
BCAAs, I don't know enough about them to talk really intelligently.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Like,
9:34.